We are live. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the launch of my new book, The Crow Folk. A huge thank you to everyone who's shown up today. Already we're getting comments. Oh, that's very exciting. Wonderful. Oh, yeah, Sage is here. Jack is here. Rosemary's here. Marion's here. Oh, fantastic stuff. Fantastic. All sorts of stuff lined up for you today. Okay, so at 7:12 exactly, we're going to be joined by the wonderful people at BBC Radio Kent. They're going to be crashing the party. Caimh McDonnell, CK McDonnell is going to be here emceeing, asking me questions, list of questions. If you've got a question, pop it in the comments there. And my little helpers here, Emily and Kai, they're going to pick those out for us. And we're going to have answering all sorts of listener questions that you sent into Miss Araminta Cranberry at the Woodville Village Library. Plus, importantly, we're going to be announcing the winners of the book and chocolate giveaway. I'm going to be announcing a few special things at the end as well. And we're going to end with a rousing sing-song from Mr. Ian Sainsbury. So hello to everyone. And without any further ado, let me add to the stream, Mr. Caimh McDonnell. Caimh, how are you today, sir?
I'm very well. I feel I should explain what's happening here. Instead of going for a 1940 chic, this isn't some kind of, let me be very clear, this has nothing to do with my accent. Anyone who says that, I'm throwing them out of the room. I have power. I went scarecrow, and then I realized belatedly it doesn't really fit with the whole having to wear headphones thing. And as I said, I now look like the nightmare DJ you ordered for your children's party that you really are wishing you hadn't brought in.
Well, wonderful stuff. If you have dressed up today, we'd like to see what you've dressed up as. And I know a few of you have. So, yes, drop us a line at mark@witchesofwoodville.com at that email address. And we're going to share some of your photos later in the show. So drop us a line at mark@witchesofwoodville.com with your dress up. And we'd love to see how you're dressing up. And yeah, we'll share those later on. So Caimh, thank you so much for coming today. I really, really appreciate it. Now, for folks who don't know Caimh, oh, crikey, you're in for a treat. Well, first of all, he's the author of this magnificent new book, The Stranger Times, which I absolutely love. One of my favorite reads. Just absolutely love it. Also, the Bunny McGarry books as well. There's loads of those you want to seek those out too. So do check them out. They are such good fun, such a good laugh. Caimh, how are you?
I'm very well. At the risk of going full smashy and nicey this early in the evening, I only agreed to do this because I was very annoyed with the fact that Mark's written a very good book, to be honest. I genuinely hoped it'd be terrible. And I just sat there seething, reading it all the time, going, this is annoyingly good. So it's a delight to be here. And incidentally, when we go live to the BBC, I did pitch them announcing we're at war with Germany, but apparently that's a hard no. Which I thought was a great shame. Apparently it's all, we can't do that kind of thing on the BBC anymore. It's also a little bit too realistic the way things are turning out, but let's keep it light and happy. So yes, it's a delight. It's a fantastic book. Oh, sorry, fire away, Mark. Sorry.
I'm just saying, we've got all sorts of wonderful people coming with us. We've got people from Canada. We've got Robin Sarti here. Mr. DeVoe, my co-presenter of the Bestseller Experiment, he's here too. We've got Jack Logan here. Richard Horton. Hello, Richard. Richard is in the sales department at Simon & Schuster. And God bless him, they've done a fantastic job with this. It's in indie bookshops everywhere, all over the country. It's on Amazon. It's on waterstones.com, wherever books are sold. So thank you for that, folks. Yeah, so all exciting. I'm all of a titter, and I've dressed up as well. As you can see, I've got my proper, here we go. Got my badge there, the Home Guard. Although when the book is set in June 1940, they were still known as the Local Defence Volunteers. It wasn't until July that they were called the Home Guard. Little tidbit for you there.
There's a man who had to do a lot of research to write this book and was looking for some reason to put that in at some point.
Exactly, yeah. Well, here's some of the we can talk about research later, but I've got some of the books. Don't worry, I won't be reading from them later on. But yeah, I've got books to hand. And
that looks like a lot of hard work. And I speak as a man who got rightly lambasted for getting the name wrong of a canal in Dublin, which I grew up beside, and I got it wrong in my first book, and some woman went absolutely mental at me. So that level of research is very impressive, which we will get into later on. That's one of our questions coming up, not to spoil it too much for everyone coming in. And it's lovely to have everybody here. This is very exciting. An international cast of people showing up, which is wonderful.
Yes,
but
now, Rachel Hauser saying a right palaver over a case of mistaken jam roly-poly. They were going to get a jam roly-poly, which is featured in the book, and there's a recipe for the jam roly-poly online on my YouTube channel. But yeah, what did you got a Swiss roll instead, didn't you, Rachel? I think, yeah, slight mistake. But it's all good. It's all good. Swiss roll, jam roly-poly. I mean, what's a bit of Swiss roll between friends?
You got the shape right. I mean, it's a partial credit. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
And by the way, is the outfit the full outfit? Have you got like the full thing, or is this only the top half of it? I mean, what I'm saying is, give us a twirl, Mark.
I've got a thing behind me, so I can't really. There we go. But yeah, that's as much as you're going to see. Because if I move back, I knock this thing over. See, I've decorated the office and everything.
Wow, it's impressive. By the did you have any relatives in the Home Guard, by the way? Was this just a question that occurred to me? Anyone in the Stay family in the Home Guard?
I don't think so. See, my granddad, now there's some controversy over this. No one can quite agree what happened. He was the youngest brother. So he went out apparently to the desert, like with the desert rats. And then his mother was ill. And because he was the youngest, he came home early. And then I heard from an Australian cousin who said that actually he got wounded and was sent back. Now, whether that was self-inflicted or not, I don't know. But the story, the World War II story we've got, I went to the Imperial War Museum a few years ago and discovered I had a great aunt and uncle who died in a blitz raid, and they were in the pub. And I was out with my Uncle Ray, who's here tonight with us, and my Uncle Alan, and they told me the whole story, which is my grandparents were in the pub with my aunt and uncle chatting away. My aunt and uncle said, "Want one more?" And they said, "No, we're going to go home." And they missed the bomb by minutes. So for that decision not to have a pint, I might not be here. And it's stuff like that just completely blows me away.
It's amazing.
The other side of We're Irish, so they kept well out of it. So
yeah. Well, let's not get into that. But I was just going to say, I mean, not to make light of that at all, but it is ironic because normally people deciding to have an extra drink is a lot of the time why they have several generations of children afterwards. So it's rare that deciding not to drink actually has created children. It's good to see it happens both ways. Yeah, I'm Irish. Right? It's never happened that way in our history, but it's good to know it's happened other places. But
so Emily, have we had any costumes coming yet?
Yeah, we've had a couple.
Oh, we've had a couple. Lovely. I'm going to try the share screeny thing now, and so we can look at some of these costumes already. So let me bring this up. Where is it? There we go. Okay, let's share this. Let me know if you folks can all see it. Okay, is that coming up?
You're on slide 6 currently.
There we go. Look, there's Jenny. She's come as a land girl. Fantastic, Jenny. Wonderful. Now, Jenny is a librarian. She's also a bell ringer. And there is a Miss Gordon in the book who is a bell ringer as well. And for legal reasons, there is no direct connection between the two, honestly, Jenny. But that's fantastic. What a brilliant effort. Thank you so much. Who else have we got? Yeah, there's me auntie Marion. She's come in her best bib and tucker. Thank you, Marion. Marion, also a novelist as well. You'll find her books on Amazon too. So it's just those two. Yeah, fantastic. Keep them coming in, folks. We love seeing your outfits. Do let us see them. So yeah, wonderful. Oh, what's happened? Look at that, side by side. Let me do that. Ooh, lovely. Just to remind you, folks, we're going to be joined by BBC Radio Kent at 7:12 precisely. They're very, very precise, the BBC, about these things. Then we're going to be getting into listener questions, which you folks have sent in to Miss Araminta Cranberry. Now, just to clear things up, Araminta Cranberry couldn't be here tonight. She's basically looking after the library in Woodville Village, but she has passed on her best wishes, and thanks you all for your kind notes. But yes, she's. If you don't want them on about, well, look, come and visit the village. Okay, if you go to the Wishes of Woodville website / library, that's where you can go and get free ebooks. We've already got things like the jam roly-poly recipe. You can download that for free. We've got a sample of the book for free if you haven't read that already. First sort of 3 or 4 chapters. We've also got a short story, Mrs. Teacher's Seance. That's there for you to grab if you haven't got that already. And also, I'm going to be announcing some more wonderful short stories that are going to be released between now and book 2 later on in the show. More details about that. Also, we will be announcing the winners of the book and chocolate giveaway and all sorts of other wonderful surprises.
Fantastic. And can I just say, I mean, I've already said how much I like the book, but The chocolate was fantastic. So much so I generally got in trouble because it arrived, and Ian Sainsbury put a picture of it up on Facebook saying how lovely it was. And my wife went, "Oh, did you get one of them?" I went, Yes, I did. Didn't even make it out of the hallway.
Oh dear. Shall I prepare them for the doghouse for Mr. McDonnell? Yeah. I've actually not had any. I'm going to do a live tasting of the chocolate.
Oh, wow.
Now this is by Chocks for Chocoholics, which is a wonderful company. My wife used to do Tupperware parties, where she used to have chocolate parties, and they do branded chocolate, so you can get your book on the cover of a chocolate bar. Oh, look at this! Oh, look, silver wrapper. Ooh, let's have a look at this now.
Might have the golden ticket.
There's the golden ticket. Is he Willy Wonka? That's good quality chocolate. Anyway, did you guys want some?
Yes,
no, okay, go for it. Very good quality chocolate. Love it. I'm going to need another bar. Could you get me another bar? Because I've already started one now. I need one for promotional purposes later on. Thank you so much. Wonderful stuff.
I had no idea we could just demand chocolate and it would come. I feel like I've not been taking advantage of being an author at all, if that's the case.
Well, this is it. It's people love chocolate. Who knew? I mean, Richard Horton has just said that I ate mine in 3.2 seconds. Well done, Richard. Nice work. Here we go. We can bring that up on the screen like that. There we go. Excellent. Thank you.
Robin has made pumpkin cookies. Very good. Well on theme. I like that.
I hope you've brought enough for everyone, Robin.
Right. How are we doing? Is it BBC coming at 12 minutes past? Is that correct?
Yes, it is. It is the BBC. Oh, any second now. Crikey. Yes. So everyone put your clothes back on and behave yourself. It's the BBC any second now.
Pulp on BBC Radio Kent and Disco 2000s. This is BBC Radio Kent and the Dominic King Show. Tonight I'm taking you to a book launch online. The new book from fantasy author Mark Stay, who lives in Herne Bay, has just been released. It's The Crowfolk, The Witches of Woodville. We're now live with Mark and the MC for the evening, comedian and writer Caimh McDonnell, who has written for TV, including shows like Mock the Week and Have I Got News for You. He's also the author of the novel Stranger Times. Let's link live into their live stream. Good evening, Mark and Caimh.
Hey!
Hello!
You've made such a fantastic... You look magnificent, sir. Proper 1940s BBC presenter. Can you do the voice? Can you do... We are at war with Germany. Oh, I better not say that on the BBC.
No, don't say that.
Do not say that right now because, it's been a strange year already,
Yeah, it wouldn't even be the weirdest thing that happened this year already so far. By the way, have you explained to the listeners what you're wearing? Or we should say that.
Just before 7 o'clock this evening, we said that, I'd literally nipped out to the loo, dressed up in my bib and tucker for you guys, because I thought, look, first of all, the invitation was lovely anyway from Mark, but there was a concern that I'd be out of place. But now, having seen what I can see in front of me, I think I'm absolutely brilliantly dressed. And what on earth is on your head?
This is a scarecrow hat, which, as we said, it doesn't really fit well with the broadcast headphones. So, as we said earlier, I now look like the worst DJ in the world that you've got for your kids' Christmas party that you're regretting booking. But nevertheless, whereas Mark is dressed quite wonderfully as a member of the Home Guard, looking very dapper.
Yeah, no, he really is, and I don't know why it is, but I just want to say, stupid boy. The interesting thing about doing a book launch, and of course, a lot of authors have gone to do this on air, online, live streams, because that's the way they can do it. It must be really strange for you, isn't it? The challenges of launching a book in lockdown.
It was. I mean, I was talking to bookshops before all this happened about, we could come in and do an event. And of course, then we got the third lockdown, the trilogy sequel no one asked for. And it became very, very clear that this would have to move online. The thing is, it's not a new thing necessarily. On the Bestseller Experiment podcast, we talked to an author called Mark Edwards. He's been doing these for years, and he does them absolutely brilliantly. Yes, the technology is there to do this kind of thing. Caimh did one just a couple of weeks ago, which was really, really good fun. So, and the great thing is, we've got people coming to us from Canada or the United States, all over the world, and which we, so I think the future is, even when bookshops open again, you'll have your bookshop event, but you have a live event as well, and it's really good fun. And after this, I can just have a little lie down, and it's nice and fun to do. I've got a tech support team here as well, sorting me out. That's a great thing of having young people in the house. That's really helpful. So it's really fun.
Can I say, though, I understand from looking at social media that your tech support team were not exactly well served before the start of this event. They haven't been fed and watered very well. And I know they're your kids, but seriously, what's going on?
They work for chocolate. This was agreed beforehand, and they'll get more chocolate and the promise of more chocolate to come. So, I mean, that's a perfectly good agreement. So, yeah.
Now, the book itself, The Crowfolk, we, at the very beginning of you writing this, have been following the story on BBC Radio Kent with you. And then we got the chance to hear a part of the book before it came out. We're going to hear that again tonight when we leave you from the live stream, so people can get a chance to get a behind the scenes with that. But the Kent village, the idea of moving to Kent, the story and the creation of this place, Woodville, and all the rest, has that become naturally to you? And how much has that been inspired by our county?
Hugely. I mean, this idea in one form or another has been rattling around. I've got files about this going back to about 2008 and probably before that, and nothing ever quite clicked. Nothing ever quite fell into place. And then I moved here, and I'm in the rural setting, so you become so much more aware of the changing of the seasons, of the environment around you. And also, of course, World War II happened right above our heads here. You go to the Spitfire Museum near Manson Airport, which is a brilliant resource. There's still pillboxes around. There's still all these echoes of the war. And it just occurred to me that actually I should set it here. It's when I decided to set it here that everything clicked into place. I created a fictional village because I just wanted to cherry pick all the best bits of villages around Kent. And it's been really inspirational. And wherever I look out and and I can see Reculver Towers, and I go for walks, it is truly inspirational. So it's moving here created this book essentially.
Caimh, as an author, just seeing this kind of live book launch, getting direct to the audience, for you and as a writer as well, just that whole idea of being able to bring people together. I mean, you potentially can do something much bigger than you would do if you're in a bookstore itself.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, like as an author myself, we're quite lucky. We get emails from America and stuff. My books sell quite well in America. So doing live launches like this, the great thing is you can get people in from all around the world. Like even right now, we have people in from Canada, America, Australia, which is fantastic. So I think, as Mark said, this is definitely going to become, like, obviously we all know the last year has changed so many things in so many ways, but this is now going to become a core part of launching a book. And I think which is a good thing, because it brings you closer to the audience, which is always a good thing.
I think you're absolutely right. And for anyone who is watching the live stream, and we have on my Facebook page put up a link so people can be watching this while listening to the radio as well, they'll notice that if you just keep watching, Caimh's hat just slowly emerges down his face. It's like the sorting hat out of Harry Potter. It's got a mind of its own.
Yeah, it's genuinely, by the way, I'm impressed it made it to tonight, because my dog saw me put it on earlier on and he went absolutely crazy. So the chances of this thing lasting a couple of days and him ripping it to pieces are very slim indeed. But yes, I mean, I don't have much other cause to wear a scarecrow hat, so hopefully this is just going to have to be its one-off.
Mark, it's been great to be with you on your live book launch tonight. Can you tell us what happens next then to the book? Because the book's out today. There's also an audio version of it as well. Tell us the story of where we are with The Crowfolk.
Well, I hand it over to the readers now. It's their book. And this is where I start getting feedback from readers. You start getting reviews. You start getting people giving you feedback. But I've got the second book will be coming in October, and between them, I'm going to be releasing short stories to newsletter subscribers. This is a world I'm going to be coming back to again and again. This is my happy place. I write for film. I've got film coming out probably early next year now. I've got working on a TV thing, but this Woodville is mine, and it's a place I'm going to keep coming back to again and again and again. And the thing that people have said about it is then it's like a comfort read. it's quite different to stuff I've done before. There's no swearing, which is astonishing. Very little in the way of actual violence. So it's actually quite a comfort read, and people have been saying that in the reviews, in that they just feel, it's great escapism. Yeah, I mean, yes, it's set in the real world, but there's magic and witchery and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, it's I just want to keep that going. I want to build that world and make it bigger and bring you into it. So the website, you can join the library, you can go to the bookshop, you can talk to me. I've got a librarian who will speak to you and help you out and stuff like that. So it's it's what people want. I think just a bit of escapism.
Well, I know you're going to be coming on and joining us for the book club later on this month with Lyndon Kemkaran, so we look forward. That'll be fantastic. Thank you so much for being with us. Caimh, nice to see you. Well, I kind of say see you. I can't really. You have to.
Yeah.
And
I'm there somewhere.
And Mark Stay, thanks very much indeed. For us on BBC Radio Kent, we're now going to hear The Crowfolk by Mark Stay. You can have a listen to part of the story. This is the prologue, but we leave them to their evening, and enjoy that online if you are watching. Let's hear a bit of the story as we go to Woodville.
Under a sunset sky streaked with pinks and yellows.
Wow, that was the BBC. You were very, very well behaved. Thank you so much. That was lovely. That was good fun. I didn't know he was going to play that bit either, which is nice.
Oh, that's good. Cool. That's a great little. And now we can go back to swearing and cursing like troopers. Oh, sorry. Yes, the Mark question for Mark. You said the book during the Second World War. Is there a yearning to go back to the time as it's more simple and humble time? Yes. Let's get into the questions now, Mark. Do you think so? Let's start off there. Tell us about why you picked that time and what you thought what effect it had on the book.
Well, like I say, Kent was on essentially the front line of the Battle of Britain, and it's all around you. You can't help but see it, and people have a great sort of attachment to it. I don't know if it was a simpler, humbler time. I think that's a bit of mythology, because once you start looking into it was really hard, and there's all sorts of parallels with what we're going through now. People will come out the other end of this, and we'll talk about how we all got together in it. But crime went through the roof during the Second World War, and there was all sorts of terrible things going on. But there was a sense of purpose, I think, and there was a sense that certainly for the women, when all the fellows went off to war, it was a fantastic opportunity for women to come into their own and do remarkable things, and that's something I wanted to focus on as well. And it's a period I'm fascinated with. I think it happens to it's quite a blokey thing in that you watch Band of Brothers or whatever, and you kind of think, what would I have done in that situation? Could I have done that? Could I have made a difference? And then you get to my age and you think, actually, I would have been in the Home Guard and walking around with a broom over my shoulder, that sort of thing. But it's a period that just has endless fascination for me, and I just think a lot of stories have been told in that area that we kind of think there's we've heard one version of the story, and it'd be interesting doing that research and looking at people's diaries from the time. It was really hard. It was really, really difficult, and I wanted to shine a light on that as well as the magic and the demons and the pumpkin-headed people and that sort of thing too.
Excellent, because I'm going to say, for a fantasy book, the level of research you have done is phenomenal. So talk us through that. What was the research process like? When did you start that process, and how long were you doing that before you started writing the book?
I took a tip we interviewed Ian Rankin on the podcast a couple of years ago, and he has this amazing tip, which is he doesn't do any research for the first draft. He does it all on the second draft. And the reason is that he just writes the stories, and then he knows the gaps that need to be plugged. He knows the things he needs to look up, and that I took that attitude to it. So, there were things, it's weird things like, when did the pubs open? And did the pubs have an indoor loo? And how much was a pint? Little things like that. So, you look for, things like Brewing for Victory, a book like that, which it just has all this brilliant information in it. And then I mark up, the pages. So there was this whole thing about teetotalers as well, So all these little nuggets of information that are really helpful. You go into museums now and they give you pocket books and you get ration books, so you know how these things all look. And also, thank God for Talking Pictures TV. You know, there's a TV channel that it shows movies and newsreels from that period now as well, which is just incredible. And films like Canterbury Tale, the Powell and Pressburger film, which uses real people in it all the time. And one of the problems with films from that period is everyone speaks and receive pronunciation and speaks like this, because one has gone to RADA and done rep for a number of years, and one speaks like this all the time. But when they speak to real people, you hear that people used contractions. They said you're writing dialogue, Queef, and you put in and you think, did people say that in 1940? And you think, I don't know if they, but I found one in Canterbury Tale, the Powell and Pressburger. Someone goes, and I thought, that's it. That's all I, So especially when you're writing about working class people as well, because this is, I wanted someone, her dad, Faye, her dad runs a pub. She's just an ordinary person with, albeit magical powers, so, and things like the best book. This is the best book as well. Here we go. Nella Lasts War. Okay. She was, the observation thing they ran where they got people to keep diaries through the 40s and 50s. And it was made into a TV program with Victoria Wood. And Nella Last, she just kept a daily diary of everything that happened to her. So you find out, things about Lord Haw and jam and food rationing and she knits rag baby toys for local hospitals and things like that. So it has all this quotidian detail, this day-to-day detail, which I absolutely loved. And that's the kind of thing people have been responding to. That's the sort of thing, because I remember years ago I worked for a publisher called Headline, who then published a lot of saga novels. And I had a friend called Doreen, and I would give her my samples, and I would say, what's the appeal of these books? What do people like? And she said, it's the little details. It's getting the bus right, the bus number and the bus route, and knowing the pub name and the street name and all those little things. People go, yes, I remember that. And it feels more real to them. And of course, when you're writing about magical stuff, as you've done with Stranger Times, you want to set it in a real world. And then it's a bit like boiling a frog. You introduce the magical elements slowly, and then people believe in both. So, yeah. I like this question.
Have you tried any of the rationing recipes, Mark?
Yes, we have.
From Richard Caimh?
Yes, well, that's the jam roly-poly thing that we tried, because Faye finds a book left by her mother, which is full of magical spells and rituals, and also, mysteriously, a recipe for jam roly-poly. So if you sign up to the newsletter, you can download the recipe, which Claire made. I didn't. And there's a video showing you how to make it as well. And in the next book will be Spotted Dick, which I know confuses a lot of non-British people.
Even as someone who knows what it is, it's still funny. Let's be honest. It's a guaranteed chuckle every time you put it in anything. It's very juvenile, but where did the title come from? The Crow Folk. Do you want to explain the Crow Folk and what that means exactly? Or would I have given too much away?
Yes. Without giving too much away. Well, once Faye discovers that she has these kind of magical abilities, she may or may not have triggered the arrival of the Crow Folk, who are living, walking, talking scarecrows. And they are led by this. Yes, exactly. They are led by a charismatic leader called Pumpkinhead. Although that's not his real name. We find out later what his real name is. And and they call themselves the Crow Folk because they scare off crows, they scare off birds and scarecrows and what have you. And that whole scarecrow thing, I know it really creeps people out. It creeps me out as well, from growing up watching Wurzel Gummidge as a kid, but also as you get older. I don't even remember in the Singing Detective, the Dennis Potter thing, one of his teachers turns into a scarecrow with blank eyes, and they're terrifying. They're absolutely it's that whole uncanny valley thing where something looks like a human but it's not. And it instinctively freaks me out. So hopefully it freaks the reader out as well.
I've just realized there's probably about 6 people at least watching this who've just gone, oh, that's why the idiot's wearing the hat. Oh, okay. But let's go back a bit before you decide, because I didn't realize this till I heard it on the Bestseller Experiment, which of course is Mark's fantastic podcast with the other Mark, who I hope is still here with us, Mark DeVoe. But I heard when you were chatting about it on that this idea has been knocking around before it was set in World War II. You've had notes in it for ages. So briefly, just bring us through the development, the germination of the idea.
Well, it started as a TV idea, and it was set in a contemporary village in, with a teenager, and it was more about the monster. It was more about I had a story about a boy who changes and transforms, and I was going for kind of a Swamp Thing vibe. You'd sympathize with the monster in the way you might do a Swamp Thing or Frankenstein's monster or what have you. And it never quite clicked. It never really worked. And I wrote it as a TV pilot, then I wrote it as a novel, and then I rewrote it as a screenplay, a feature-length film, and that didn't work. And I tried it as a novel again, and it just wouldn't work. And I went off and did other things. I did Robot Overlords and Back to Reality and End of Magic, but it kept coming back. And like I say, it was my TV agent said to me, why don't you set this TV pilot in Second World War? He said, because, selling to Americans, they love Downton Abbey, they love historical Britain, that sort of thing. So do that. And I did, but I did it as a novel. So much to his annoyance. But yeah, it's, and it works, I think. I think having that little bit of remove, that historical remove. I mean, there was a part of me thought, oh no, I'm going to have to do all this research. But like I said, I think if you wear it lightly in the storytelling, then it doesn't bog the story down. So yeah, it was it's been a long time coming, but it just wouldn't go. It's like toothache, just wouldn't go away.
Well, it's just that because I think you're absolutely right. Genuinely, the setting and the story just works so well together. It makes a sort of wonderfully fresh thing. So it absolutely does. But seeing as you mentioned it there about doing it in other formats and stuff, I know a lot of people here will have listened to the Bestseller Experiment and stuff like that and be aware of you from that. But because, I mean, this is obviously a great, victorious night for you with this fantastic book coming out. People are already great reviews. But you have been working as a writer now, for a long time. I won't put an exact figure on it. I don't want to date you. But let's talk about the bigger picture, as we say, because you are a fine example of you're a grinder, mate. You've done the work, and that's in the best way possible. There is no higher praise as far as I'm concerned. But give people an idea what it's like being an author, what author or writer working on these sort of things, and how it sort of comes about to have that kind of career.
Well, I mean, persistence, counts for a lot. I mean, we say to people on the podcast, the easiest way to fail is to give up. You just got to keep banging your head against the wall until one of you cracks. But I'd always written, since I was at school, and one of my teachers is here tonight. So hello, Hitty. I've been writing since she introduced me to, the Wizard of Earthsea when I was a kid. And that was, and I used to write, rip-offs of Star Wars and Battlestar Galactica and stuff like that. And, you keep plugging away. And then with friends, I would write sketches after school. And then I started doing plays, and that was where it made a big difference, I think, because you soon learn putting your stuff in front of an audience, whether it works or not. And that's when I started taking it really seriously, because a friend of mine, Jeremy, he saw my first play, because I wanted to act. I was acting, I was auditioning, not really getting anywhere. And he said, look, there's too many actors, but not enough writers. You can write, keep writing. And I think a lot of writers just need that affirmation. I think that was his way of telling me I was a terrible actor. Stop laughing, you. Quite Peck. And so I started writing quite seriously there, and then one of those became a screenplay. And this idea that, because Mum and Dad, they were school caretakers, we didn't know anyone in the film industry or the book industry or anything like that. So I might as well have wanted to be an astronaut, but I started, I got a job at Waterstones. It was a Christmas job at Waterstones in Dorking. I only meant to stay for Christmas. I ended up working in publishing for over 25 years. And that's where you meet people. You meet people and you meet your favorite authors, and you start thinking they're just people just like me. And when you learn about their that it was, none of them have really had an overnight success, that it is a long slog, a really, really long slog. And like I say, this is, 10, 12 years old. I've still got other ideas that are probably even older, kicking about. So, but yeah, it's, and I wrote, on my commute to work and my lunch break on the commute home, so I could get 2 hours a day done. You do have to make it a priority in life. And it was, I appreciate it's not easy for everyone. If you've got a young family, certainly when we had a young family, it was harder. I was a sales rep then, drive around the country. And for my lunch break, I'd park in a lay-by and write in the lay-by. And that was the only time I could really write. And, so, but, I got made redundant a couple of years ago. That was great, because suddenly I'm a full-time writer, like it or not. And that's been a big change, because you can dig deeper and you can really commit yourself to it. I had a choice then, do I go looking for another job, or do I commit to this? And I've committed to this. And here I am.
Yeah, and it's bearing very good. Obviously, there's this coming out. I mean, the second book, we should say, I think you've already that's been work has been done. Wheels are returning. Would that be correct?
Yes, they are. And Bethan is my editor. The questions he's asked there. So
that was perfectly timed. Well done. Beautiful piece of editing.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I don't want to give too much away, but there is a new threat to the village. There are new arrivals in the village. And what I've enjoyed doing is just, getting to know these characters a little bit more, giving them new challenges. It's not scarecrows this time, but it's something a little bit more real, a little bit more focused on the real world a bit. But yeah, and it involves a mysterious tree and apples and a mysterious death. I wanted to do a little bit of a whodunit. There's a little bit of an Agatha Christie whodunit feel to this one as well.
Fantastic! I'm very excited to hear that. And how soon can I read it, Bethan? Someone's asking it. Yeah, it's about. This is the joy of being an author, by the way. Literally, on the day your book comes out, people will be going, "Where's the next one?" It's like takes a bit of time. It's coming. I'm sure he'll let you know at some point. I'm sure they'll get the word out. By the way, we mentioned the bestseller experiment. One thing I always wanted to ask, because it's inspired an awful lot of people. Again, just some of them are here tonight, but it has inspired a huge amount of people over the years. I mean, what's it been like for you? What do you feel you've learned from it? And what inspirations did you draw from talking to all those amazing authors?
It's been fantastic. I've learned more doing the podcast about writing and the craft of writing and writing as a career and writing as a career choice and a life and all of that stuff from doing the podcast in the last sort of 3 and a bit, 4 years. I forget how many, 4 years. Is it 4 years now? It's flown by. But I've learned so much. And the thing is, there's no right or wrong way of doing it. You do get people who are an overnight success, who get that huge advance and suddenly are looking at, bestsellerdom straight away. And then you get people who slog away for decades sometimes, and then suddenly, boom, they hit the big time. Or the people who aren't a success here, but are huge overseas, or people are rejected by every single publisher and then self-publish and then suddenly are massive, absolutely massive. So there's no right or wrong way of doing it. But the key thing is they are persistent. They commit themselves to it. It's their passion. It's their life. And, they're compelled to write, and the terrible thing is most writers, would write for free. And trouble is publishers and agents know this, editors know this. We would write for free because we're compelled to do it. We can't help ourselves. But it's nice to get paid occasionally. And you can, there's never been a better time to be a writer. And I've done a bit of everything. I Robot Overlords was the film tie-in. Then with Back to Reality, we did self-publishing, which we loved. Then I did crowdfunding with The End of Magic, and now big publisher Simon & Schuster. It's just amazing. It's been a hell of a ride, and I think that's the future for a lot of authors. It's not just going to be one thing. It's going to be a little bit of everything. Hybrid authors. Excellent.
Well, actually, that does bring us quite beautifully into some of the questions people sent in to Miss Amarinta Cranberry from the Woodville Village Library. She's not available this evening, but I have been sent as a very inferior stand-in. But one of the questions was, all 4 of your books, this is from Jack Logan, all 4 of your books have been in different genres: kids, sci-fi, epic fantasy, and whenever Back to Reality was. That's a nice way of putting it. Do you think this has had a positive or negative effect on your writing career?
I think it's been positive because I've done like I said, I've done a bit of everything. It's the big lesson I've learned, and one of the reasons Woodville is going to be an ongoing series, is because I think the way to earn a living doing this is to write a series, or to have a kind of an endless well that you can keep going back to for stories. There are some authors who don't do, Martina Cole, Mark Edwards, they don't have recurring characters necessarily, do very, very well. Thank you very much, which is great. But I think if you're trying to establish yourself, having a series that people can come back to, having, because people will discover you 5-6 years down the line. And I mean, I know people, Queeve, who've, discovered you through, Stranger Times, and have suddenly gone, oh, and there's 8-9 other books I can read, and they just hoover them up. So I think that's you hear this from the music industry and the film industry. You don't get rich with a hit, you get rich with a library. And so I just want to keep building that up and enjoy doing it at the same time. So I've enjoyed, and I never really wanted to get stereotyped as an author of a particular kind of thing, but everything I write has a little bit of magic in it. I've been working on a screenplay with another writer. It's supposed to be contemporary, set in the present day, a rom-com kind of thing. And even then, we've put magic dance sequences into it because I can't help myself. I can't help myself. Wait, stop me before I do it again.
You're just a magical man, as we all know. Let's look at our other ones here. Another letter to Miss Cranberry that she received was from David Jacobson. Would I please convey the following question to Mr. Stay? I've heard he has been formulating the latest story for many years. What was his inspiration? I'm talking about the earliest seed of an idea. And at what point did he know it was a story worth developing? Was there a local muse involved? Sincerely, David Jacobson.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Jacobson. It's difficult to say. It's sometimes you have an idea and you don't know why it keeps coming back to you. You don't know why you keep going back, and it's this thing of discovering theme and the big ideas behind the story. Sometimes you know there's something there and you can't quite nail it down, and that was the thing with this. I couldn't quite figure out what it was until I wrote the first draft of the Crowfolk, and then it occurred to me, okay, this is about community. This is about having a community where on the front of it we're all together, but actually there's little fractures, and maybe if we all just listen to each other a bit more, we would get on a little bit better. Even the people we don't agree with, let's try and listen to them, have the patience and the courage to do that. And that, like I say, it was just I had a magic book, I had a wood and a village, and a character that would discover power as a result of that. That was all I had, and I was coming at it from different angles, trying to figure it out. And it's interesting because we have this bestseller academy where people, we do tuition and one-on-one coaching and stuff like that. And the thing I talk about with writers a lot is just saying, okay, what's your theme? What's your big idea? What's the thing? If your book was at a book club, what's the first topic of conversation? What would that be? When they pick your book up, and it gets writers thinking, okay. And once you have that thematic idea, it really helps the story come together. Particularly, when you're doing a second draft, and it's like, why is this scene here? Can I make it work harder? So it was. I had these weird little bits of jigsaw, but I didn't even know what the picture on the cover of the jigsaw box looked like, and it took me 12 years to get there.
Excellent. Well, that does feed in well to our next question, which is from the guests, Rosemary and Philip Guest. Thank you for your kind missive. The question they have is, was the outline of the Crowfolk studiously mapped out in advance, or was Mr. Stay, as I understand the youth refer to it, a pantser on this particular novel? Just to be clarifying, that's how he writes it. He's not going to take his pant. Just answer the question, Mark, before someone complains.
Well, I was always a big outliner. I loved outlining. I think that's my screenwriting background, because when you write a screenplay, you usually have to do an outline or a treatment that you show up front before you actually write the thing. And I've just been doing that this week with a TV pilot. And but I carry that over into and some writers they're big outliners. But then there was a famous episode of the Bestseller Experiment where Mark and I had written a 50,000 word outline. Gave us an almighty rollicking. So I thought actually, you know what, I'm gonna rethink this. And on my second draft of The End of Magic, one of the threads I just completely pantsed it, and it comes from flying on the seat of the pants, not just sitting there in my pants. Although a few days were like that. And then with this one, because I had all these other drafts, I didn't want to just go around and sift through. I just blank page, let's go. And it came really quickly. So it was very much a pantsy kind of novel. And so was the second one, even more so the second one. And it's great because, I've sent my agent and the publishers sort of one paragraph outlines for the first three books. I'm just putting together one paragraph for the next three after that. And it's great because you're giving yourself the freedom to write whatever you want, really, explore these characters, because you give them the ability to surprise you as you're writing. And I would do things like I get stuck and then just write my notebook, okay, what the hell happens next, then go away and go about my day, do the washing up or whatever, and then you kind of think, I've got it, and you rush back to the notebook, so it's been really, really fun, and I've really enjoyed working that way.
Excellent. Can I point out, by the way, I'm sure most people have heard it here, but if you haven't, the episode of the Bestseller Experiment when the two Marks with Ben Aranovich, where he gives them I'm trying to find the polite word for this, Mark. Are we allowed to say bollocking? He gives them a very stern talking to, and it is genuinely my favorite ever podcast episode, where he's so appalled when he finds out you've written 50,000 words about writing a book. Incredible moment.
Well, what the worrying thing that really shook me up though, because I know after that he went to lunch with all of Gollancz, and I know he would have said, "Have you seen these two clowns and what they're doing?" So I'm like, "Oh my god, reputation ruined," kind of thing. I mean, the book turned out brilliant in the end, so it worked. Ben, thank you very much. There's no right or wrong way of doing this, but you know, it did make me rethink things. So yeah.
Yes.
Shall we make some announcements? We can do some more questions in a minute, but
Absolutely.
Shall we do the giveaway winners? Shall we do that?
Yes.
Okay, right. I'm going to ask my lovely assistant, Emily. So thank you to everyone. So basically the idea is you just had to retweet and follow me on the old Twitters with, and you win a signed copy of the book and some chocolate, more importantly. That's the real key. So we got 5 of those to give away now. So Emily's got the random number generator. So Emily, can you give us our first number, please?
I can indeed. 609.
609. So we go to the list of people who entered 609. That is Tommy. That's the only name I've got. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you for that. We'll be in touch with you, and we'll figure out details of how we get the book and the chocolate to you. Our second winner, please, Emily. Give us another number.
259.
259. Let's go. Is it 259? There's so many. We had something like 700 entries. 259. That is Jason Obi. As I live and breathe, I used to go to school with Jason. Bless you, Jason. It's not fixed. It just follows me and subscribe to my newsletter. So thank you, Jason. That'll be on its way to you. Next number, please, Emily.
Okay, we have 529.
529. Let's scroll through these. Who's 529? Let's have a look. 529. Saivar. Saivar is one of our academates on the Bestseller Academy, and he lives in Iceland. And follow Saivar on Instagram. He has the best Instagram feed, and they get sunsets and sunrises like you wouldn't believe in Iceland. So Saivar, I'll be in touch. We'll get that over to you. Next number, please.
Right here. 268.
268. Okay, that is Janice. Janice, lovely. We've got your email there, Janice. I will drop you a line and let you know about that and how we can get that to you. And how many is that?
I don't know. I wasn't actually looking.
That was 4. Okay, one more to go.
367.
367, the last one. Okay, that is Lucia or Lucia C. Lovely stuff. Wonderful. Great. Well, I'll be in touch with all of you. But if you're sitting there thinking, oh, no, I really want the book and the chocolate. Well, fret not, mon frere. All you need to do, I'm going to be running another giveaway, basically. So all you need to do is sign up to my newsletter. Go to witchesofwoodville.com/library. Sign up to the newsletter there. You'll get some free ebooks, but also everyone will be entered into the giveaway. There are certain terms and conditions. They also apply. I'm just going to put those in the comments. Where are we? Where's the comments there? I'll pop those in the comments there so you can check that out. There we go. Check out the terms and conditions. This is going to run. Entries must be received by 5 o'clock GMT on the 28th of February. So basically, sign up to the newsletter between now and the end of February, and you could be in with a chance to win a book, signed book, dedicated, and the bar of chocolate. And of course, if you've already subscribed to the newsletter, you are already entered. That is wonderful stuff. Thank you.
Excellent. Well done. Congratulations, everyone who won chocolate. I'm very jealous of you. By the way, I'm just going to check. Yeah, I've had mine in like 30 seconds. By the way, seeing as he's heckling me over WhatsApp about my hat, Ed Wilson is your agent. How much do you think that's held you back in life?
Ed is mum. Oh, hello, dear. Bring up a chair. Fill up a chair. We've got a land girl here. Ed has been magnificent. He's been an amazing agent. He tends to get very upset when I get things wrong about cricket in books, which he did today. He got very upset about that. But he's there to set me right. He's just been amazing. Just terrific. And it's all been good. One other thing I want to announce before we all start with sing-songs and stuff like that. I want to announce a series of short stories which will be exclusive to newsletter readers. So book 2 which it's called Babes in the Wood, will be coming in October of this year, 2021. Between now and then, I'm going to be releasing a quartet of stories called the Miss Charlotte Quartet. This is going to be chronicling the mysterious life of Miss Charlotte. If you read this, she's one of the witches in the village. Her background is very murky and mysterious. With these 4 stories, you can discover a lot more about her. So, sign up to the newsletter. These are going to be exclusive to folks who sign up to the newsletter. And of course, you'll be in with a chance to win the chocolate and the book and everything else. But those are going to be starting from 4th of March, I think. Yes. Anyway, more on the newsletter as and when. Now, I can see in our green room, we're going to be joined by the magnificent Mr. Ian Sainsbury. Let me just introduce Ian to you. Ian is not only Kindle storyteller, award-winning author.
Oh,
and,
really? Really?
Yeah. I forgot because Caimh was nominated for that as well. And
He's got the same bookcase
yeah, so I should have thought that before, should I, Caimh?
I was assured Sainsbury would not be on this performance.
Yes, and he's also got other stuff like Clockwork Sherlock is coming as well. He does a series called Bedlam Boy. If you love a bit of ultra-violent revenge thriller, check out Bedlam Boy. So let's bring Ian on. Now, you two behave yourselves, all right? No one any trouble.
It's the runner-up. Lovely to see you.
Yeah. Mock all you want, mate. Who's got the hat now? Hey?
Well, I've been searching the house for something to compete with that, but I don't have your sartorial finesse, Caimh.
No.
It's amazing.
All he's got is his rationed hairline. Look at that. Ridiculous amount of hair. Anyway. So you're going to be doing a medley of World War II songs, is that correct?
So they tell me. Yes.
Yeah, well, it is your era. I mean...
Says Father Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, this is genuinely, without a lockdown, I'm gonna have to get rid of this because kids are gonna be following me around shops. It's gonna get really weird.
You're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah. I'm just trying to check have we covered everything else before we. There's a couple of questions we didn't get to. Sorry, I'm sure Mark will answer them on Twitter or whatnot afterwards. I think we've covered everything else, have we?
I think we have. I've got a little YouTube channel where I'll be doing regular updates and stuff like that. But I've been joined by, a land girl here, Miss Burgess. There is also a Miss Burgess in the book who's a bell ringer. Claire, there's bell ringing in this book, serious, magical bell ringing. And Claire helped me. Well, I gave you the manuscript and said, tell me if I've done anything wrong. How did that pan out?
Well, I got a red pen and I sat down there at the dining room table and was going, it was like, I felt like writing "See Me" like your teacher used to do. Quite brutal.
That's how I like it. And you brought us, land girl, you brought us some of your produce today,
yes,
haven't you?
I harvested this from the garden this afternoon when I got home from work. So we've got some Brussels sprouts.
Ooh.
Some Spuddy Wuddies.
Nice.
Some fart nips. Parsnips. They're the last of them. A rather rude carrot. And a lovely pair of cauliflowers. So yes.
On that bombshell.
Yes.
Mr. Sainsbury, can you play us out? Which is going to be your first song, sir? Because I'll put links to the lyrics if you want to sing along in the comments.
I've got an echo in the house. Someone's walking by with an iPad with you on it. Go away. That's very off-putting. Okay, so Run Rabbit Run to start with the extra Hitlerverse that was put in. The Hitlerverse sounds like actually something that you find now. It's like an alternate reality book. The
Hitlerverse.
The Hitlerverse. Yeah. Then a bit of Knees Up, Mother Brown, and then finish with We'll Meet Again.
Lovely.
That's what I thought I'd do.
In the comments, so you should be able to get the lyrics if you're not familiar with them, and we'll have a lovely sing along.
Or the
Is
dog's
anyone
trying
else
to get
worried
in
about the Hitlerverse? Because it feels like the Hitlerverse might be a career-ending moment. I'm just saying. I mean,
I'm going
to hope it's anti-Hitler, but who knows? It's
to me, it sounds like the beginning of an epic book series. But yeah,
well, there we go.
Lovely.
You saw it here first. Okay, then.
Well, I'm going to share some of the pictures of people who've dressed up because we completely forgot about that. And we're going to remember at the last minute.
Okay, and I will keep an eye on the screen because I'm not going to be able to hear you because otherwise we'll have the feedback problems again. So I'm putting the headphones down. If anything goes wrong or you need me to stop, wave. Okay, here we go. Stop waving now, though. First one in the key of C, second one in the key of B flat, and third one in G if you want to play along.
He has misjudged the audience terribly there.
Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Bang, 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 bang goes the farmer's gun. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Is it just me who wants to go? Have a banana. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Don't give the farmer his fun, fun, fun. He'll get by without his rabbit pie. So run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Now for the Hitler verse, just for Queeve. Run, Adolf, run, Adolf, run, run, run. Now that the fun has begun, gun, gun. Perhaps you'll just allow us to explain what we did once we can do again. We're making shells by the ton, ton, ton. We've got the men and the mun, mun. Terrible rhyme. Poor old soul, you'll need a rabbit hole. So run, Adolf, run, Adolf, run, run, run. And into the key of B flat for knees up, brother mound. That's can't be right, can it? A bit faster. Knees up, Mother Brown. Knees up, Mother Brown. Under the table you must go. E-I-E-I-E-I-O. If I catch you bending, I'll saw your legs right off. Knees up, don't get the breeze up. Knees up, Mother Brown. Oh my, what a rotten song. What a rotten song. What a rotten song. Oh my, what a rotten song. What a rotten singer. Knees up, Mother Brown. Knees up, Mother Brown. Up the table you must go. E-I-E-I-E-I-O. I'll catch you bending. I'll score your legs right up. Knees up, don't get breeze up. Knees up, Mother Brown. Oh my, what a rotten song. What a rotten song. What a rotten song. Oh my, song. What a rotten singer. And finishing with we'll meet again. Don't know when, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies drive the dark clouds far away. So will you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as you saw me go, I was singing this song. Will everyone meet again? Don't know when we finish, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. And congratulations on a lovely book launch. And oh my God, look behind you.
Very, very appropriate song. We will all meet again. Oh, it was Old Man Withers from the Lighthouse all the time.
We've gone away with a joke for a million years.
Thank you all so much for coming today. A big thank you to everyone who's helped out, to Emily and Kai and George and Claire, to Queeve, and also to Sarah Cox, who was crucial in making this happen and can't be here today. Huge thank you to Sarah as well. Everyone who sent questions in tonight, everyone who's read the book, everyone who's left a review, everyone who's just been a bloody nice person in these miserable times. We will meet again some sunny day in a bookshop, maybe. That would be nice, wouldn't it? With a cup of coffee and some chocolate. But until then, stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask, do all the usual stuff, and we'll see you on the other side, folks. And yeah, adios. Bye.
Sludge.
Sláinte.